Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore. It's Friday, time for the Film Threat Friday Livecast. I am more than pre-coffee. I am way out of it. I was out late last night. So much, so much to tell you on the show today. We're going to be talking about Cocaine Bear versus, yeah, that's my voice. Yeah, it's cracking. These are the first words I've spoken since I woke up. We're going to be talking about Cocaine Bear versus Ant-Man. Also, the director Colin West of the film Linoleum, starring Jim Gaffigan, is going to be on the show today. We've got some rants. We're talking other movies. Alan is here to tell us about Jesus Revolution. A lot going on. Let's start the show. Let's get going. The Film Threat Friday Livecast. Come on, let's make it happen. Let's go. Alan, how's it going, man?
Wow, I'm doing a whole lot better than you are.
Yeah, oh my God. No, I was out till, okay, I'll tell you where I was. I went to the Chrissy Mayer comedy show here in Pasadena, and great show. I mean, she just knocked it out of the park. She did an hour on stage with some amazing people who did the, the opened for her. Lila was among them, a comedian that I thought she was so good. And I remember seeing a really good interview with her on You Are Here show. She was lamenting what Los Angeles used to be. And that interview just really stuck with me. Anyway, so she was one of the openers for Chrissy, did a fantastic job. And Chrissy was great. It was sort of it was like an American Legion Hall or something. But it was packed, standing room only. And then we all went out after to the 35er, and we were there till it closed at 2 a.m. And I am awake.
Oh my gosh.
I am awake. How are you doing, Alan?
Yeah, no, I would have gone, but I injured my foot. And so I've been off of it for a couple days. And so I've been getting a lot of sleep. That's
well, at least it hasn't interrupted your flow of reviewing movies for Film Threat. That is, I think, that's the important thing that I think about is can Alan still, as long as your fingers are not crushed, you'll be able to type.
Yes. Oh, that almost happened a couple weeks ago.
What?
No, I sliced off the end of my finger,
Wow.
So, yeah. What?
Did you keep it? What did you do?
No, it's just a small part, and it was about a week before it all went back to normal, but it was pretty scary.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Eric Weber, same thing happened to Eric Weber. So there you go. I'm if for those asking, yes, I am pre-coffee. I haven't had a sip of coffee yet. It's going to be a rough show. It's going to be a rough show, but we're forging ahead. We're going to do it. So here we are.
Now I understand you did see as a primer, you saw Cocaine Bear just before seeing Chrissy.
Of course I saw an early show of Cocaine Bear at 5. Then a bunch of us from that just went over to see her show live. It was great. It was awesome. Let's see who's here in the chat. A bunch of people here. John Manilang says, happy Friday, Chad. Pre-coffee Chris and AI Alan. For sure. It's definitely AI Alan. David Glenn, hello, everyone. Davina Duckworth, good morning. James Ricciuti, is that giant Chris Gore head disturbing to anyone else? Wait, where's a giant head? Where?
Oh, it's your Gordoc.
Oh, Gordoc. Oh, yeah. That's right. I think, people, a guy named Leo Cordy, among many others in our Discord, they make like memes of Alan and I, or just people from the show. And I just post them on the community tab. So there you are. Davina Duckworth says, Chrissy Mayer is great. I saw it for myself. Like, I bought her comedy album, which came out a while ago, but this was all new material. It's hysterical. She was also did that thing. She just sort of acknowledges if there's something weird in the room, she just acknowledges it. So she was doing crowd work. She was doing like, I don't know. She just wrote jokes just for that show, which was great. Brian Blair is a new member. Thank you for that, Brian. Yeah, what a great show. Solomon Thornton, I'm not surprised that Cocaine Bear is real. We live in a very unique world. Well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Elliot Cecil for $4.99. I'm about to watch Cocaine Bear in about 2 hours. Hope it's at least stupid and fun. Yeah, I would say stupid and fun describes it, but we're gonna get into it. We are gonna get into it. For sure. And there's something important that I want to address on the show that's sort of hanging in the zeitgeist, a rant, if you will. But let's see. Why don't we get right into it? As people, I want to hear Alan's review of Jesus Revolution. Are you ready, Alan?
Yeah, how is my connection right now?
It's terrible. Weren't you?
Oh
Wait,
my gosh, it was working great. I ran speed tests all day. It's I don't know what.
Chris, my internet is working.
So it's not.
I don't
good,
know what is about 9 o'clock, but it seems like 9 o'clock on Friday.
Welcome everyone.
Let's get out of here.
It's just this specific time of the week that my internet decides to go crap out on me.
Yeah, well, what can you say?
I know. I keep running tests that says it's fine. Oh my god. But yeah, we could talk about Jesus Revolution.
Okay, well, let's talk as people are grabbing their coffee and getting out of bed and rolling in. Let's talk about Jesus Revolution. I want to hear, because that is a movie that is opening in theaters that I was unaware. So let's hear you talk. Let's talk about it.
Well, it's a pretty fascinating movie. It's I'm trying not to self-insert myself into this review too much, but you know, it's pretty. I made it clear that I'm a Christian, evangelical Christian, and I became a Christian, as a part of the Jesus movement, which is what this movie is about. And but it starts back in the 1960s. The hippies were ruling the world at that time, and this is essentially the origin story of Chuck Smith and Calvary Chapel and the Jesus movement that came out of Southern California. It's also the origin story of Greg Laurie, who is out in Riverside, one of the who oversees one of the largest churches in America, basically. And so the movie is basically Chuck Smith, played by Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer is he's one of these old stodgy pastors. He's leading a dwindling flock of old people, and he's just wondering, what does he need to do to turn things around? He's kind of having arguments with his daughter, and she in a huff just kind of walks out. And then while she's out, she runs into this hippie named Lonnie Frisbee, who's played by Jonathan Rumi who plays Jesus in The Chosen. And Lonnie Frisbee kind of has this interesting approach to Christianity, to Jesus, but from a very hippie perspective. It's not about the turn and burn, the judgment, hey, sinners, you're going all to hell. But he focuses more on the love of Christ. And so Chuck Smith's daughter takes him home, and Chuck Smith is kind of alarmed that this weird hippie is in his house. And they kind of spark this friendship. And then in that, he finds his message interesting and decides to bring him into his dying church and see if, maybe try to liven things up a bit. And in turn, his message, Lonnie's message, kind of starts to, it feels kind of weird. But the old church is like, I don't know about having all these hippies come in because they have no money. And so now Chuck Smith is in fear of losing the older crowd. And so that's kind of the gist of the story. There's a side story of Greg Laurie and his wife, Kathy. Greg was going into the military academy. He ran into Kathy. Kathy got him into rock and roll and drugs. When their friend almost overdoses, they kind of realize that they're going down the wrong path. And then they wind up at Calvary Chapel. and get saved from there. And then it's kind of the building of that. Now, what I like about this movie is it feels very authentic. It feels very real. It's based on Greg Laurie's book. I became a Christian at the tail end of the Jesus movement, so I'm very familiar with the players here. With Lonnie Frisbee, who helped start Vineyard, Chuck Smith. I've been to Chuck Smith's church many times early in my Christianity to their Saturday night rock concerts with, seeing groups like Undercover and Barren Cross. And then Greg Laurie is just famous. Every year there's the Harvest Crusade over at Anaheim Stadium. So it's an interesting story. And what I appreciate about it is, one, it's not your typical faith-based movie where the gospel is kind of shoved in your face. It's not preachy, but there's a lot of preaching in it because that's what they do. And then the other thing is, what I appreciate about it is also there's no miracles. It's just the only miracle that happens here is change lives. And so it really goes for as true a story as it possibly can. So, I'm kind of biased in the sense that I know these guys and I know their ministries, and I really like the story, and and it may not be your cup of tea. And so I'll throw it out there as that. But in terms of a movie, it's well done. Kelsey Grammer is, very stately actor. He knows what he's doing. Jonathan Rumi, who plays Jesus in The Chosen, very good. And a lot of the side characters. It's a well done production, and it's put out by Lionsgate, for crying out loud. So there's money behind this movie, and you figure Lionsgate, they want to make money, and they think they have it in this one, and I think it will make money based on the budget it had, and again, a well done movie.
Well, I have a question. What
Yes.
if I'm not religious? Will I like this film?
Yeah, that's the thing that you're gonna wrestle with if you are. Let's just say the gospel is put out there, and it's put out there quite a bit, but but it's not. I liken to a lot of faith-based movies where people sit down and they say, God is this, God that, and God will do this in your life. It's not like that. It's not that blatant. In fact, there's a moment where a lot of the warts comes out especially with Lonnie Frisbee. He kind of gets, he becomes kind of self-important, and and every one of the characters, the three main characters, they have their flaws, and so you might want to give it a chance, but I would say you might find it enjoying. It's because I know I can't watch faith-based movies. It's just too hard to watch, and and this is one that I like to watch. This is one of the few that was enjoyable to watch. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, no. It's, first of all, I saw the trailer, and then I didn't even know what the title of the movie was, because it doesn't come till obviously the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
But like I was, this is interesting, a period piece, deadbeat hippies, and then they join this church and begin to change people's lives. I thought it was, it was like, it looked like it wasn't so much a lot of those faith-based movies that get a little preachy. It didn't feel preachy. It felt like, from the trailer, it felt like, oh, we're just going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Like I said, I became a Christian at the tail end of the Jesus movement, and I miss that message. I miss that part of evangelicalism that focus solely on the fact that God loves you, and God wants to help you out of whatever circumstance you have, versus the gloom and doom. Gays are going to hell, alcoholics are going to hell, drug addicts are going to hell, and I feel like over the decades, we've lost that. We've lost that message of love. And this is kind of a reminder of what it used to be like, what compelled me to Christianity so long ago. And I do miss that. I miss that today. And I think this movie captured that original feeling.
Well, that's good to hear. Let's go to comments about this. First of all, we have MK Solid 82 for $1.99 says hippies were like saints compared to today. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Andrew Montpetit says it's important for Christian/religious movies to learn from the mistakes of woke movies. Don't put the message, even good messages, ahead of the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrew goes on to say that's why this media, movies like
Fathers do.
Father Stew, or even shows like The Chosen do well, and a lot of Christian media doesn't. Interesting comment there. That's cool.
Well, I mean, I think with at least Father Stew, the idea of it's broken people who that God works through, and not perfect people, not and the idea that God looks for the humble and the imperfect, and so I think that's why these movies will appeal.
Adrian Curry says basically Catholic, lol. And then
well, technically they're Protestants, but
right. Lubitsch Touch Me says they are hard to watch because they are awful as movies.
Yep.
Some of them,
I've certainly sat through my fair share of faith-based movies.
Passion of the Christ was surprisingly not preachy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone notice? Oh, wait, we're going to get to that comment later. That's related to a different film we're talking about today. But Andrew Montpetit says, I liked Kelsey Grammer's take. You have a choice between Jesus and a cocaine bear. True. John Manaling says, I'm not Christian, but it's refreshing to see this movie being released today. And Gun Homac says, Kelsey Grammer transitioned into Chelsea Grammer. You said Chelsea Grammer when you
did say Chelsea.
You misspoke. I knew what you meant. Brock Samsonite, isn't there also a new Left Behind with Kirk Cameron and Kevin Sorbo?
I think it's just Kevin Sorbo. And I believe that came and went.
Yeah. Well, you didn't review it? You didn't see it?
I didn't. I think that was also a Fathom Events screening, which I wasn't able to get to.
Yeah. John Manalang, authentic was all I needed to hear. Gonna check this movie out based on Alan's review. Look at that, Alan. Your reviews are literally saving lives, Alan. They're saving lives.
Yeah.
David Glenn says, I feel like Chris is looking directly at me, judging me. It's when I look, because like I have my monitor here where I can see Alan and your chat comments. Then my camera is like just slightly above. It's like on top of the monitor. So I have to, like, if I'm going to look at you, I have to look at the camera. And if I have to look at the comments, I got to look down. So where would you like my eyes? Lubitsch Touch Me says, as someone who holds most religions in high regard but has no faith themselves, is it enjoyable just as a film?
Was that? I'm sorry. I'm reading comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. It's a piece of Christian history. The Jesus movement was a real thing, and this is the origins of that. And I think if you want to take it from a historical standpoint, this is a good movie to watch.
Matt W says, just accept Jesus into your heart, Chris. Easy.
I know. Come on, Chris.
And Adrian Curry goes on, Chosen is really good. I was shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked too. They actually asked me to review the first season. And it's, in terms of Jesus series, television series, far better than anything I've seen. And I think they capture at least the humanity and the love of Jesus that you just don't see others do.
Magnum Norse for 5 says, it sucks that I have to discern between commie versus not commie every time I consume entertainment. Oh man. True. Let's see. Sean Z Comic Construct for $4.99. It's funny when you don't super chat and you comment and you can clearly tell Chris looked at it and didn't like the comment. Wait, really?
Chris,
you guys you're reading too much into this. Is me right now, bleary-eyed, a lack of sleep. I'm pre-coffee. You are way over. You're way reading into it, but also I didn't like the comment. So there you are. Brock Samplate. Oh wait, we're gonna get to that one.
Yeah.
Andrew Montpetit says, I'm Catholic and I look for strong stories with universal themes rather than being so on the nose. I don't think you're very winning if you just beat people over the head with your message. Well, if you have to beat people over the head with the message to you know, hope that they get the message, I think that's a bad thing. I think that, people have, the freedom of choice. They choose whether to, believe in the message or not. And I think that that's, been the thing that's been so bad about, a lot of stuff coming out from Disney, where the message is being so pushed that people push back against it. And it's turned them off to Disney, even as a brand. I mean, Disney used to dominate animation, not anymore. Okay. The Minions Rise of Gru made more money than Ant-Man. And it beat, no, I'm serious. Minions The Rise of Gru made $107 million opening weekend. That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, let me back or expand on this, but a lot of the woke movement, you can see parallels from it, from the 80s evangelicalism. The idea of, all our stuff, you have to beat people over with the message. We were canceling people in the 80s because they didn't agree with our doctrines 100%. There are a lot of parallels, and I find that quite ironic.
Yeah, no, that's what turned me off it was the religious right. Turned me off in the 80s and 90s. A lot of their actions were censorious, and among other things, that I just was a huge turnoff. Now it's flipped.
Yeah.
Now it's like flipped. It's bizarre. So, Mega YouTube 99 says, I'm a hardcore Satanist who wants the world to burn, but I loved Jesus Revolution.
Oh, God love you.
There you go. My kingdom for a film. Question for Alan. How do we tell a story that doesn't lead with the message, but you allow the audience to decide? What would that structure look like?
Yeah. Well, I always talk about any good story is one where you make that first attempt to connect with an audience, to kind of understand your audience, to address some issue that audience resonates with, and then kind of build your story from that. And from there, you can kind of go and, either tell a story that, that allows you to empathize with the audience, or you can, in this case, excuse me, in this case, kind of throw in a message and say, hey, I know what path you're walking down. Here's an alternative. And so it's, we talked about last time about good storytelling versus woke storytelling. And I think empathy is the biggest key in that, understand your audience and speak to them.
Here we go. Not the Batman says, and now don't forget, Tipper Gore was part of the censoring too. Then Hillary as well. They just argued for censorship for different reasons. One, I never forgot. I remember those hearings over music and labeling music. I guess I don't really have a problem with labeling music, but a lot of it was over lyrics in songs. But I'm not in favor of censoring things. I trust that you are smart enough, that Alan is smart enough to decide, what they want to think about something, but it should be there free for you to be exposed to, or choose not to be exposed to, or to pay for or not pay for. You can just ignore it. So there you go. But yeah, no, I remember that was in the 90s. That was annoying.
Yeah. And there's something about parents teaching their children values versus passing that off to other people.
Yeah. Andrew Monpetit is on fire in the chat today. I'm not a big fan of most Christian media because they rely way too much on Jesus nostalgia. If you don't love our movie, you don't love Jesus, and covers up lazy storytelling.
Yeah. Well, I think you could say that about, Oscar bait movies. Like,
True.
we're gonna make a movie about a specific subject, whether it's slavery, the civil rights movement, the Holocaust. And you better like it, or you're an anti-Semite or a racist.
What about those there's like a God's Not Dead connected universe. They're like nine God's Not Dead movies. Tell what's that all about? God's Not Dead.
Whoops. Sorry, I just dropped something. Yeah. Gosh, I wish I had seen those movies. I don't know if my wife has. But yeah, those are pretty blatant, pretty much over your head. And I prefer drama. I prefer authentic drama versus preachy drama.
what rating would you give Jesus Revolution?
69. Yeah. You're going to hell for that one, Chris.
No, I set you up.
Yeah, I'm going absolutely to hell for that one.
I set you up. I'm so sorry. I had to do it. I couldn't help myself. But that's good, because what's funny is I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks like it's a period piece, hippie, like, the turbulent 60s. And then I saw the title. I'm like, oh, Alan's going to see that movie.
Yeah.
But
I reached out to them saying, hey, this is my wheelhouse. Send it to me.
Well, I'll probably end up going to see it because I have the AMC A list. Like, why would I? I mean, I could just go see it. So I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna go see it this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal that they got Kelsey Grammer to be in it as well. Cool. Now, I will say I've had issues with Calvary Chapel over the last 20 years, but that has nothing to do with the movie, this movie, and the message in this movie.
Cool. Well, let's pivot for a second. And we have another film we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about this one a lot. There's a lot to discuss. Cocaine Bear. We have some comments related to Cocaine Bear. I will get to your comments about it in a second. But let me switch it up here. Yes, I saw the movie Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks. It's Ray Liotta's last film. It is the true story of a shipment of cocaine that just fell out of a plane into a forest, and a bear happened upon the cocaine, ingested it, and went on a wild killing spree. The film opens with a with these titles talking about, like, if the bear is black, you should attack. If the bear is brown, run away, or something. It rhymes. I forgot it already. But and what's funny, so they put these facts up about bears on the screen, and then it says source Wikipedia, and the whole audience burst out laughing, because I don't think anybody takes Wikipedia very seriously. But this movie is, from the trailer, it is exactly as advertised in the trailer. It's sort of a dumb comedy / horror movie, because they spend a lot of the first, like, 20-30 minutes of the movie just setting up a lot of different characters. And I'm thinking, oh my God, with this many characters, some of these people are going to die. Well, I'll just say this. Most of the people die in the movie. There are 2 kids that get lost in the forest, and one of the moms is out searching for them. The drug dealers realize what's happened as the local authorities move in, and the drug dealers, led by Ray Liotta, are off on a search for the cocaine. They've got to recover it. So there's a race to do that. And then there's this murderous bear. Now, here's what I didn't expect in the movie. It is shockingly violent. I mean, this is hard R. This is not a movie for kids. Definitely not for kids. While the trailer itself kind of makes it look a little PG and kind of goofy and over the top, this film has a hard time of like threading the needle of, is this a comedy? Because there are parts where it just gets, I mean, people's arms, legs being ripped off, people being, like, guts being like ripped open and intestines spilling out. One of the more gruesome deaths has a woman on a stretcher. She's a park ranger. They're being chased by this bear. She's in an ambulance. The bear actually gets into the ambulance. She goes on, she's strapped to the stretcher. The stretcher falls out of the speeding ambulance, and she falls on her face and grinds a bunch of her face off. I mean, the gore in this is just way over the top. The other thing is, the bear, for most of it, looks digital. I mean, it's a digital bear. Okay. And so I had some problems with that, because sometimes it doesn't look so great. It's not like they hired anyone from Marvel, though. It's not that bad. I don't want to give you the wrong idea. But I think, look, did I have a good time watching this movie? Absolutely. 100%. The audience was with it, clapping and, like, laughing, like, during the dumb parts, which is most of the movie. The thing that didn't work for me was I felt that the film had a hard time balancing the tone. This is where the movie is kind of a fail for me, actually, is that, okay, it's a comedy, but the events are very serious. People get murdered. And I mean, they're killing all types of characters too. No one is safe. No one is safe in this film. Plenty of women die, men die, people of color are killed, which is you're not supposed to do in today's movies. Oh, they get murdered. So, and the convoluted plot about the cocaine, nobody cares about that. I think the big problem I had with the film was the fact that the movie didn't know what it wanted to be. Is this straight up comedy or is it like gory horror? And I felt like a better director, Elizabeth Banks directed this, she's a director in her own right. And I felt the movie had it just needed someone like a Sam Raimi. I feel like Sam Raimi can balance that sort of tragic horror comedy. And I will say that horror comedy might not be Elizabeth Banks' bag. It was just, it was almost like the movie had two editors, each of them trying to like fight for what they felt the movie should feel like. And also there were a lot of scenes that like, why is this going on so long? Do we really need this? So thankfully, the movie's not like north of 2 hours or anything. If you're looking for, a dumb fun time at the movies, see it with a crowded, see it in a crowded theater. You'll definitely have a good time. But I can't 100% recommend it because, again, the tone of the film is like all over the place. I will say, like, the gore sort of runs the gamut of like, sometimes it's funny, like you'll just see a leg fall out of a tree or something. And then sometimes it's like horrific, like someone's intestines being ripped out. So they really didn't like, were they trying to, I mean, you could have cut a PG-13 version of this movie, but this is definitely, from a gore standpoint, it's hard R. So,
so is it a so bad it's good type of movie, or will it find that kind of cult following?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think at the end, it's just, it's going to be a good distraction from Ant-Man. I don't think it's going to beat Ant-Man. I think this movie will do much better than people expected, but it felt like a streaming. This should have been, it felt like this should be on Peacock. And they were looking at it going like, wait a second, let's just put this in theaters. Let's put it in theaters. How crazy would it be if we put Cocaine Bear in theaters? Every time that trailer played, people lost their minds.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think theaters are desperate for movies, especially now that the big studios, I mean, this is Universal, but
yeah,
the big studios are not putting out as much content as they had been over the last few years.
Well, I'll say this, like, look, there are certain people in the audience who love things that are gory. If you like things that are gory, this is pretty gory. But if you're not into that, maybe avoid for a bit. Let's actually go to your comments.
Yeah.
Here we've got a bunch of
skip over the Jesus comments at this point.
Okay. Brian Blair for 10. Saw Cocaine Bear yesterday. Wasn't expecting much considering the title, but would have liked to have seen more bear mauling and less cringy dialogue. The bear was barely in it, in my opinion. Well, there you go. So there you are. Naz 37 for 5. Chris, great to meet you at Chrissy's show last night. First time seeing her live, and she knocked it out of the park. I felt the same way. Chrissy Mayer just knocked it out of the park. She was great. Naz 37, good to meet you. I was more awake when we were hanging out last night. Not so much today. John Manalang says, Chris, sounds like you need a Jesus revolution, man. Dude, for sure. My kingdom for a film. Cocaine Bear looks so ridiculous that I have to see it now. It is one of those things, I would put it like in the category of like movies you can't believe got made. That's the category I would put Cocaine Bear. Like, do you realize that there's actually a movie called Cocaine Bear and this is what it's about and it's based on a true story? So, yeah, it does. Like, there's a movie called Deathbed and it's about a bed that eats people. Not a joke. Deathbed, the bed that eats people. And there's like a whole, there's even another one like The Killer Sofa. you're like, you look at these, and first of all, I love movie posters for movies like that, because you're like, I can't believe that how does this even exist? So yeah. Ratzel asks, how commie is Cocaine Bear? 0. There is not a shred of wokeness in this. Like, nothing. It's just full
A bear
on
killing people.
let's say this, it lives up to the trailer, lives up to the poster. You're if you're ordering a cheeseburger, this is the cheeseburger. So
I don't know. The impression I got was the poster is the best thing about this movie.
Yes.
The trailers. The more trailers I saw, the less interested I became in wanting to watch this movie.
Spidey Sensei 72, who's a member, says so many mixed reviews on this film. Interested to hear Chris's take. Well, mine will also be mixed. Unfortunately, there were things I liked about it. There are things that just sort of made me kind of just like, ugh. And also, I think the thing that is the weakest part of the movie is the tone. The tone of this film is just all over the map, where you don't even know, like, what am I supposed to think? Like, what is this funny? Like, there's like 2 kids in danger, and they're about to get eaten by bears, and bears. I didn't say, I meant bear. This might be considered a spoiler, but there are baby bear cubs that turn up later in the film that play a part of it. So
Are they on heroin or?
They're definitely, for some reason, bears really like cocaine. Strange. William Joseph Dunn, Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo did the score for Cocaine Bear. Yes, I noticed that in the credits. The score is fine. It's but it's definitely like, do you mean this for this to be a comedy, or do you mean for us to be horrified that someone just got ripped apart and mauled to death? So Justin, Star Wars Marvel purist, says Cocaine Bear, a little disappointed, but I laughed so hard at the ambulance scene. That was my favorite scene too. They're trying to escape in this ambulance, and it's amazing. My wife and I almost felt uncomfortable because we couldn't stop laughing. But in contrast, it's not the same as. Wait,
what? Yeah,
not the same as what? Justin, Star Wars Marvel purist. What are you trying to say?
I think the bear got him.
Yeah. My Kingdom for a Film says, what do you think about Elizabeth Banks' direction? She hasn't had a lot of wins yet with her films, hoping she can get a win soon. This will be a win for Elizabeth Banks. I think your expectations are kind of low anyways, based on the title and the premise of the film. She's fine. I feel like with this, though, the movie looked really flat. There's not any sort of cinematographic glory to this. There just isn't. And she's fine. She's a competent director. I think where I have an issue is the editing. It just felt like the editors were battling to make 2 different movies. In addition, some of the performances, like Ray Liotta is just doing a Martin Scorsese movie. He's straight up in a Martin Scorsese movie. And then other people that are in this movie are like in a Lloyd Kaufman Trauma movie. So that's what I mean by the tone is all over the place. Some of the actors are like doing one movie and another actor is doing another movie. And they even like, I didn't even recognize him. I'm like, oh my God, it's the actor. What's his name? He played Han Solo in Solo.
Oh, is it like Alden Ehrenreich or something like that?
Yeah. He's in the movie as this he's like distraught about like his failed marriage. And he's got a son that his dad is Ray Liotta, who's the grandfather to this kid who he can't stand. And so it's the guy I'm looking, it's like, oh my God, it's the guy from Solo. And he plays like this wimpy, annoying guy. So just some of the premises and situations are ridiculous. But yeah, no, Elizabeth Banks, she did a fine job. You really can't, I don't know. I mean, it's Cocaine Bear. What is your... So she did a good job. It's the editors, I think, that have an issue. Imperfect says, if Chris Gore says it's shockingly violent, it must be really violent. I mean, it is. Sean Z, Comic Construct for $4.99. I grew up not knowing if Ray Liotta was an actor that was shot after. How come he never did another Scorsese movie, guys? I always thought he did great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes people, actors, director combos, they work together. I mean, Robert De Niro and Scorsese, they trust each other. They work together. So, but Ray Liotta, I don't know. He did a great movie with Scorsese, but yeah, they never worked together again. You never know behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with on-set conduct. I don't know if anything happened, but usually those are reasons.
Let's keep going here. We have other comments we're going to get to in super chats,
Yeah.
but they're not related to the main topic here.
By the way, you convinced me. I'm gonna buy a ticket to Jesus Revolution and then sneak in to see Cocaine Bear.
There you go. I literally loved this movie. Cocaine Bear was awesome. I'm sorry, says Cutter Hale. You don't have to apologize for that, sir.
If you like a movie, you like a movie.
You like the movie, you like the movie. It's your personal taste. Don't let anyone yuck your yum, so to speak. Is that do the kids say yuck your yum?
Yuck your yum.
You never heard that?
Never heard that.
All right, well, there you go. No, look, and our group, our movie meetup group was split. Like, some people were like, that was stupid fun, and other people hated the movie. But that's okay. Justin, Star Wars Marvel purist, says the editing is kind of choppy, good practical effects, terrible CGI. It was fun, in my opinion. Absolutely. Shanzi Kamaconstruct says, does it follow any rules of slasher horror comedy? I mean, some, I guess, depends on, I don't know, like a Scream movie. Like, yeah, I mean, but what I thought was really interesting is like characters you didn't expect to die. It's like, well, they're not gonna kill the person of color in this because they have to be the winner. Nothing bad's gonna happen to that person, and then it does. That's the thing I actually like about the movie is that their character set up. Well, you can't kill a woman. You can't do that. And like right in one of the first scenes in the movie, a woman gets mauled to death in a gross way. Like, so they just right off the bat say, "Oh yeah, we don't care. Nope. Anyone, and everyone and anyone is subject to die." Amanda Nowicki says, "My husband wants to see Cocaine Bear in theaters, but if this is as gory as you say, I might have to wait for it to come to streaming and watch it at home." Do not do that. Watch it in a theater because the energy in the room, at home, it's just not going to feel the same. In a theater, you can always look away. And also, it is really fun. Like half the fun of, I hate to say this, half the fun of like going with your significant other to a horror movie is seeing what their level is, what they're able to take. And I will say, even though it's gory, it's played comedically. It's not played like, although some of the stuff you're like, oh my God.
Are we talking body parts and stuff?
Yeah, body parts, like okay. A leg just like falls out of a tree, a severed leg, stuff like that. I mean, Amanda, go see it with your husband. If he wants to see it, come on, fun night, go see Cocaine Bear, but make sure you see it with a crowd, like in a crowded, 7:00 on a Saturday, it'll be packed. So that would be my recommendation because it's that level of fun. You're not going to get that when you're watching it at home. Fear the Turtle 21 says, this movie looks like it's meant to be stupid fun, and I'm here for it. We'll be checking it out for sure. I'm always good with something stupid and over the top. It's not seeking an Oscar or anything, for sure. So Derek Rosenfeld says, fellas, if given a choice, should it be Cocaine Bear or Ant-Man this weekend? If it's a choice, Cocaine Bear. I enjoyed, even though I'm mixed on Cocaine Bear, I enjoyed it more than Ant-Man. What does that tell you? So
yeah, I found this article totally on my own. No one sent me a link to it. But it's from Deadline. Cocaine Bear snorts 2 million Thursday. Jesus Revolution blessed with 3 million plus in total preview. That's
big. It's huge.
That's huge. Yeah, no one sent me this link. I found it all on my own.
Who sent it to you?
Paulie.
That's great. Speaking of Paulie, Latino Slant, Romy and myself loved it. Don't apologize. Well, look, I'm not apologizing. What I'm saying is I'm encouraging those in the chat watching us. Oh, we have like 500 people watching us live.
Hey.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We appreciate that. Romy and myself loved it. Don't apologize. Yeah, exactly. We saw it with Paulie and met his lovely partner in crime, Romy, and it was great. I mean, just like, did I have a good time watching the movie? Yes. Did I mean, there are parts of it that like I just like I had to shake my head. It's like, oh my god. But there you go. So yeah, and then but yeah, do you know just I would say Cocaine Bear for sure. It's not it's not I don't think Cocaine Bear is gonna beat Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man will be number 1 this weekend. Wouldn't it be crazy if Jesus Revolution was number 2? That would be nuts.
That'd be pretty amazing.
That'd be pretty amazing. So Brock Samsonite says, anyone notice how Banks has been almost completely silent in the media during Cocaine Bear's rollout? She's been silent. I'm sure she's doing interviews. I mean, I will say this. Yeah, Elizabeth Banks has said some stupid things publicly. She basically killed that Charlie's Angels movie, the reboot, by saying, this isn't for men. It's not. And I'm like, why would you say all the Charlie's Angels movies? I mean, they were fun. The one with oh god, I'm spacing on her name. With the other Charlie's Angels movie.
Oh, with Drew Barrymore
and in the Spider-Man underoos dancing. What's wrong with that?
Well, that was Cameron Diaz, but
Cameron Diaz, let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah, I wonder, because I believe there's kind of like woke publicity that has to happen, and maybe Elizabeth Banks isn't very good at that.
Well, she also made a comment publicly where she was sort of berating, yeah, Steven Spielberg's made all these movies, but he's never made a movie with a female lead. And then someone shouted out, The Color Purple. and she was like, oh, okay, so one. But I don't know. This whole thing of like berating male directors for being male and making movies that resonate with people is stupid. And those comments, they should backfire. But I'm also not going to overpraise a movie because it was directed by a woman. And I see that happening. I think this movie, what's the Rotten Tomatoes score at, Alan? Can you throw that up on screen? Would you mind?
Yeah, hopefully my internet will.
But there's this trend now of overpraising a movie because there's a person of a certain identity that made the film, and that is the media doing that. That is the media that does that, and I think it's very disingenuous. I think it's the it's like, well, our expectations were low, but because you are of this type of person and you made this movie, we're gonna overly praise it. I don't care. Often I won't even look at who directed the film, especially if it's an indie movie that comes to Film Threat. Okay, so I think 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's probably more accurate. It was like 94% yesterday.
Yeah, it's 140 reviews at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's 70% Rotten Tomato score, 80% audience score.
Yeah.
It's around there. It's fine. What is your expectation for Cocaine Bear? It is not The Whale. It's not Citizen Cocaine Bear. Okay. So there you are. So it's that. We've got some sort of not Cocaine Bear related comments and questions. I'm going to get to them because I like to hear from you. The Beast 808 for 5. Don't know if this was covered, but any chance of a Nefarious review? It's a religious movie from a different angle. I love the book. Remain blessed. Alan?
I didn't know anything about a Nefarious book. Here's a card. Yeah, I have to look that one up. I don't know if that came by or
you can look it up right now.
Quite frankly, I don't follow faith-based movies, Christian movies. So
okay. Mario Ruiz for 4 just sends us a space. Thank you, Mario, for your support of the channel. Elliot Cecil for $4.99. Are you guys going to watch Guy Ritchie's Operation Fortune next week? I think we got that movie came in, right? Did you?
I don't know if I got it.
Okay.
Is that like Netflix or is that coming to theaters?
Yeah, if it's coming to theaters, I'll go see it. If it's on one of the streaming services, I think I have most of them or access to most of them. So there you go. MK Solid 80.
Talk about. I'm sorry. I think we could talk about History of the World Part 2 next week.
well, yeah, we have next week's going to be like a catch up week because there's so many things that we've seen that we haven't had time to talk about. MK Solid 82 for $1.99. Will Mel Gibson's Passion sequel happen, Alan?
No, he's. I mean, he pretty much told the whole story.
Right.
Because Jesus doesn't do a whole lot after that movie.
Magnum Norse for $5. I just want a new movie where Bruce Willis dispatches a bunch of dirtbags, wheel them out, call it Die Extra Hard, and have the antagonist get dementia. I feel like that's all the Bruce Willis movies right now. That's the plot.
With an ironic ending.
Exactly. So there you go. But yeah, look, Cocaine Bear, your mileage may vary, but if you're looking just to have a good time, check your brain at the door. It lives up to that. So Kara, who's a member, says, I normally didn't care about people who make films. Sometimes I look at them retrospectively just to find other works. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's just like you find a director that really like has like a unique tone or a unique voice, and that unique voice, I think, like you see that carry through. So, then I'll just go back and look at their back catalog. So, yeah. More comments here. Saw the trailer for Cocaine Bear during your recommendation for Violent Night, and the whole audience laughed. Will the laughter carry over? Yeah, I would say for the most part. I mean, the audience that I was with, they laughed. I think a lot of it is that you can't believe certain things are happening. Like you cannot believe it. Matthew Atkinson says it's from Steve Deese. The book is called A Nefarious Plot, but the movie technically is a prequel of sorts.
Yeah. Nope. Don't know anything about it. By the way, Operation Fortune is coming out next week in theaters. Well, and I've not gotten any advanced screening. I don't think you have either, or have you?
Well, we can just go see it. Andrew Monpetit says Jesus 2 Resurrection. It's the title and the plot. And then Rahul Ray says, look out for the upcoming Bula releasing 30th of March. It looks very promising. Yeah, there's a couple new Indian films that are releasing to theaters. I may check one out this weekend. There's one called Selfie. Have you seen the trailer? I checked it. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. All right. We're going to pivot for a second because there's something I want to talk about. Something I want to talk about here. Where's I'm working on it here, Alan. I'm working on it.
There's too many videos.
Exactly.
Humans, why are you not reading Film Threat magazine? You filthy humans, you should know your place, and your place is to be reading this magazine. Yes?
Wait, that's not the video that I meant to. No, wait, there was a different one. How would you define exploitation, Alan?
Exploitation? Gratuitous. Gratuitousness. It's just one letter. I missed it by one letter.
It's just
feel the right word. It's just missed it by one letter.
Gratuitous. Oh my God. All right. I want to talk about something serious here for a moment. And it relates to Marvel. It relates to Ant-Man. It relates to the future of entertainment.
Oops, sorry. Oh.
Wait, what's going on here?
No, we hit the button at the same time and I got thrown. So
that's okay, man.
I'm pulling the, Cocaine Bear off.
You're pulling Cocaine Bear off
the screen, yeah, as the background.
Okay. Let me here. This is what I want to do. All right. Okay, just a moment. Wait, here's what I'm going to do. Give me a second, Alan. Give me a second. We're pivoting. Folks, get another coffee. Get a cup of coffee. I'm here for a rant. I want to talk about the end of art. A freaking IKEA chair We just spoke about Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks, another prominent director, Justine Bateman. Justine Bateman I grew up with Justine Bateman, kind of had a crush on her. She's now a director in her own right, and I follow her on Instagram. And she wrote a fascinating Instagram post about AI replacing creatives in Hollywood. Very thoughtful Instagram post about the end of art. And I want to read through this and comment on it because I think it speaks to so many things people can kind of feel in the zeitgeist. And by that, I mean, so many great films are made by creative visionaries, and those creative visionaries' voices are being suppressed, supplanted by a sort of corporate voice, as so much of entertainment just becomes made by a factory line, in a sense. And she discusses this. You should follow Justine Bateman on Instagram. I'm going to zoom in on this so I can, we're going to read it together. And I want to get Alan's take on this. He didn't know I was going to do this. So, but I think it's a really important thing to address. So she's _ Justine Bateman _ on Instagram. Follow her. She goes on to say, here's my theory. Art is all going to go AI. All film, all music, all animation, etc. And soon. A friend of mine's been messing around with AI animation on his IG account. Another friend who's an actress has been scanned more than once for films where they can just use her image if she can't make it to reshoots or something. The most, quote, successful distributors of film, TV, and music aren't even people who got into the entertainment business. They're just tech bros with platforms that need content. Any level of it is fine. Okay, we've seen that already. But I think we are going to see the making of content entirely via AI happen at a rapid pace. My God, if Netflix, etc., can save the expense of the $4 billion they spend on shitty content and just have an algorithm make it instead for free, essentially 24/7, it's a big win for them. Then you don't even need the development executives. They can go back to just having coders and that's it, with code generating content. Then with that being ready to wear, quote, if you will, and any human-made art, music, or film will be haute couture and will charge wealthy patrons large fees to see/listen/screen their work. But human-made art will no longer be for the masses because greed pushed it out in favor of AI content. Or, as a friend of mine put it, we'll all go back to having our own personal jesters. I've been trying to bang the drum for years about content, quote, content, instead of actual films. But now that people have grown so accustomed to shitty content, they won't notice the shift to AI content. I want to pause for a second. This is a very important statement. Like, the quality of content has just been eroded. So you just go to AI. Will you be able to tell the difference if like an AI made a Marvel movie? We will see the end of art in our lifetime. If you haven't noticed yet, this 20-year trend of sequels, remakes, reboots, reposting, reblogging, repurposing other people's work, and pop culture has resulted in an almost absence of really new art, music, film, etc., with few exceptions. Look, it's hard to disrupt something, quote, in transition. So we're going to have to see this AI baby birthed before anything is going to be able to kill it. It's going to be a comical 9 months until that point. BRB, going to read about the transition from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance of the 1300s. Dark Ages was 900 years. Hashtag humanism, rah, rah, rah. And then I posted a comment that said, please turn this rant essay into a documentary. But Alan, what do you think about this essay here? I think it's very thoughtful, as are many of the posts from Justine Bateman. She's not posting a ton of selfies on her Instagram, okay? She's posting very thoughtful comments and remarks. I'd love to get her on the show, actually. But what do you think about this concept? The fact that like that. So, and look, I have seen what people have been toying with. The WGA is about to go on a strike. Okay, you can just have an AI write a script. You can have an AI write music. You could have an AI do digital effects. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's that idea of we're handing things over, our freedoms, what it means to be human, over to computers now, and we're now handing creativity over to computers, which scares me. And I don't know. I think if we take it to the further extreme, I wonder. I feel like we can tell the difference. I don't know. I know I've been thinking about this a lot. There's a lot of pros and cons to the whole AI thing. Um, you know, if the first AI feature ever comes out, that's essentially animation. I don't know. I'm just hearing this article for the first time, so I'm kind of wrestling with it right now. But I mean, I am that purist. I hate things that are not made by people, and I just don't think computers will ever get to that point that they could truly replicate the heart and the passions of people. They can extrapolate off of things that work, off of the long list of films and stories that work, but there's no heart behind it, So I don't know. You talk a little bit, and I'll think about it more.
Well, I mean, I've been saying for the longest time that like we are nearing this is like we are in the opposite of the golden age. We are entering that where so much of art is sanitized, is quote content. With all due respect to Cocaine Bear, which we spoke about earlier, I mean that's content, right? But this subject fascinates me because I actually follow some Instagram accounts that just, show AI art. It's incredible. One, the people look like human. The people look like people. And they're set in these amazing sort of retro future vistas that look insane, that look like incredibly creative. So it's just disheartening because I think she's right. I think that that we're entering this, like, we had this kind of like, I really think that the greatest era of American filmmaking was in the 70s. But you look at like what was made in the 30s. I mean, Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz came out in the same year. It's insane. Like there were like all these ebbs and flows in the industry. The industry has always been in turmoil. How are we going to handle AI? And there are going to be, just as like, look, there's going to be a lot of like gimmicky movies that like, look, this movie was entirely made with AI, including the script, and people will go see it just for the curiosity factor. I mean, I just went and saw last week Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, which was only possible to be made because Winnie the Pooh, the rights are now in the public domain. And so out of curiosity, I went to see a bad movie knowing it would be bad. And I was right. But where does this put us? Cocaine Bear, out of curiosity, I went to see a movie I knew would be bad. I was right. That doesn't mean it's not fun. Right?
Yeah. I just, it's the idea of giving up creativity to a machine. If everyone does that, then we lose the ability to be creative. And that again, I think further disconnects us from what it means to be a human being. This idea of art. And I mean, I hope you're kind of understanding what I'm going for here, but I think creativity is one of those few things that everyone in the world can have, and to give that up and to not stretch that muscle anymore, I think that will doom us, at least culturally, as a society.
Right. First of all, the chat is on fire with questions about this, but before we go to the chat questions, I just want to, I just think that there are a lot of creative people, the ones that are successful, are able to tap into the zeitgeist. What is it out there that everyone is feeling but cannot express?
Yeah.
That is what a great artist is capable of doing. And I believe that the reason a lot of the movies are failing or feel so flat is because the zeitgeist is not being tapped into. Marvel sort of tapped into the zeitgeist early on, and there's some sort of like that, and they went through a great era. I think Marvel's best days are behind it, and what it's turned into is content, courtesy of the Disney factory style of filmmaking. But this is very it's very disconcerting, and it's bizarre. I once made, this sounds weird, I made a short film in college once, and it was sort of a sci-fi movie. I'll have to dig it out. It was kind of like pretentious and weird and whatever. But one of the things, the premises that I put at the beginning was there's no art anymore because computers have written every possible song. Literally, if you tasked a computer with coming up with every possible note combination, every possible instrumental combination, a computer could technically write any and every song that could possibly be written. That is technically possible. So this is what the premise of a film I did in college, which is odd because AI wasn't really a thing back then. All I knew about was HAL 9000. But I find this topic fascinating, and I do believe we're about to enter a new dark age. I really truly believe that. It's unfortunate. Let's go.
The idea that you're putting actors, you're putting writers, you're putting crews out of work by just kind of going this lazy route.
Well, these are the jobs that are going to be replaced by AI.
Yep.
CG and CGI special effects artists for films, gone. Screenwriters, you can have at least the first draft of a screenplay could be spit out by an AI. You could just, here's my first draft. Now I'm going to go in and I'll clean it up.
Yeah.
So screenwriters are going to be replaced by AI.
Well, that's my point, is you're creating creative atrophy. You know, you're no longer flexing that muscle. And if you just constantly rely on AI to be creative, you're no longer to become creative yourself.
Well, it's also, you look at like Justine Bateman mentions in her essay, she talks about like friends of our actors who have their faces scanned just in case, you know, they need to like, oh, we're going to blow something. I mean, like, look, we saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. How many times, like, okay, I guess that's Paul Rudd. Obviously, that's a bunch of Paul Rudds. Clearly, they had a digital Paul Rudd. They've got them in the costumes. I mean, they look like Power Rangers at this point. You know, it's just sort of a different colored suit. But yeah, we are. I believe we are entering a new dark ages because of this. There are so few prominent voices, and the problem is there are prominent voices in indie film, but they're not able to get their message out because of distribution, right? They're not able to resonate because large corporations will not put that their art out on a mass scale because it doesn't fall in line with the message. It just doesn't fall in line. So many great comments here. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. My apologies. This is just a really important topic to me because it's something we've been on the cusp of talking about. And then I feel like Justine Bateman, just in her end of art essay, just totally crystallizes this concept, this thing that's kind of in the air. Let's go to it. Full Football Frequency says, no, an artist can use AI to revise little pieces of story over and over. It's a tool for creators. It won't replace creativity.
Let me address this. So what we're saying is we could retool Mark Twain so he comes off as less racist, or we could retool Roald Dahl so that he becomes more more so that people will the Roald Dahl story here.
Yeah.
It's like, we can use AI to now clean and sanitize anything that might be slightly offensive, and I think that's the most offensive part about this.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Let me go to more of these chat comments and questions here. They're coming in fast and furious.
I know.
Andres Sierra for 5. If they train the AI on woke modern movies, there will always be a demand for indie content. I agree with you. They train it on good films, creators may be in trouble. MK Solid 82 for $1.99. Chris, check your IG mail. Made a cool AI of you. Really? All right, I will do that. Let's see. Thomas Pickett for 5. What makes human art special compared to AI art? Both are mix of ideas in culture. Ascendant Stoic says, you aren't giving up creativity to a machine. You clearly haven't used it, Alan. Well, oddly enough, here, Thomas Pickett for 5 says, everything will be automated. I wrote about this in The Future, The Last Job. Thomas, is this an essay? Is it a blog post? Is it a short film? Thomas, let us know in the chat what The Future, The Last Job. Let us know. I would like to read that or watch it. Matthew Hammond for 5 says, does AI not allow good writers and CGI artists to do more? It is kind of like when artists went from pencil and ink to computers and animation. I do believe that AI will be a tool for artists. You still need the input of what to create. And even there are creative choices in that. My fear is this is going to take us further away from addressing what's in the zeitgeist. There's so many things that are in the zeitgeist that just aren't addressed. I feel like Hollywood used to make sort of the blue collar, talk about people who are blue collar workers. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like Hollywood is the enemy of that type of person now.
I don't know, but how would you feel about
media is?
Okay. I mean, how would you feel about an artist who used AI to maybe spark the inspiration, or maybe use it later? I feel like that piece of art is now tainted.
Well, I don't know. I feel like, look, you still need the artist's mind. You need the mind of an artist. A computer, I was about to say a computer doesn't make art, but it can if you tell it the right things. One of my favorite things, The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. He says, computers are stupid. They can only do what you tell them. So he says, let me teach it, because he sends through the teleporter, the film with Gina Davis. It's great. The Fly still holds up, by David Cronenberg. He sends a piece of steak through the teleporter, and Gina Davis's character, she starts to eat the steak, and she's like, it tastes fake. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste like a steak. And he's like, oh, like you got it. It's just like, it's sort of a resembling steak. It's not really steak. He has to teach the computer to learn about the art. There's a whole amazing, like, that's such a great sequence. So it shows you like how far we've come. Like, all the Marvel movies are about spectacle, and it's all digital and sort of soulless and heartless. And one of the great scenes from an old science fiction movie is two people talking in a room about a steak. And that's, I think, what the Marvel movies have lost, discussing ideas, having a conversation about ideas. So more comments here. And then I have to show you something. We did an experiment. I don't know if, you were around. This was back in like 2018, 2019. One of our writers did an experiment using AI to write reviews. And then that writer went on to give a speech in Washington, D.C. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you in a second. My kingdom for a film, as long as AI is used as a tool, not a weapon, which it could easily be, who's controlling creating the AI? Exactly. Fear the Turtle 21. I've never been one to be scared of new technology, but this AI creation trend is effing terrifying to me beyond just movies. It will go too far and inevitably be abused. I hate this so much. Well, did you see on my Twitter? I'm going to go to my Twitter account here for a minute. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something real quick here. It is the one thing that is interesting to me is deep fake technology. Okay. So I reposted this, and I basically said the important takeaway is that our leaders can get along and play video games just like regular folks. So just a minute. Hang on. I want to share this with you. So give me a second. I'm going to pivot here to something else. This is the thing that scares me, is the news being manipulated. Okay. So this was on an account Rasco, Dinaflash 8. So can you see that?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So here, I'm just gonna see if you guys can see this. Let's just watch it. You'll get it.
Boys, I may need some help. I found a room with a bunch of mob spawners. Can y'all come and help me destroy them?
Not right now, Trump.
Not right now, bro. I literally don't even know where the fuck you at.
Fine, guess I'll do it myself. But I'm not giving you guys any of the diamonds I find.
Donald, no need to be rude. I'm trading with some villagers I found using the emeralds we mined earlier. I'll head over when I'm done.
Trump, I don't give a single fuck about your diamonds. I already have a full chest plate and a diamond sword.
Shut the fuck up, Sleepy Joe. You think I give a fuck? You probably modded that shit into the game anyway.
Trump, I've spent way more hours on this server today than you have. Maybe you'd be caught up with the rest of us if you got on earlier when we asked.
That's true, Trump, homie. You never check Snap. We sent you a message earlier, but you always leave us on opened.
Well, maybe if you guys weren't always spamming stupid-ass memes, I'd be able to see when you actually message about something important. Dude, this fucking spider won't die.
Just kill him, bro. It's not that hard.
What the fuck? There's fucking 2 of them. Oh my God, I'm cornered. Where the fuck are you guys?
Dude, just build a wall. It's what you're good at.
Holy fuck, I'm gonna fucking die. Oh shit. Fuck!
Haha, what did I miss?
Trump just died and lost all his shit.
Hillary, were you seriously taking a shit for a whole hour?
Yeah, man, it was definitely the Taco Bell.
Bro, that shit's fire. I had it last night. The new grilled cheese burrito smacks.
Hillary, sorry to break the news to you, but I had your enchanted bow on me when I died.
Seriously, bro, I didn't even give you permission to go through my stuff.
Well, I don't really give a fuck. I'm getting off.
Okay, no, here's what's okay. Yes, it was a goof. It was done for fun. You can enter literally like a few minutes of someone talking, and an AI can replicate your voice saying whatever words you want. Deepfake technology is being used for adult content, for comedic purposes like that. I mean, who needs SNL anymore? Someone doing a bad imitation of Biden. Why not just do deepfake Biden? I mean, I just, first of all, that was hysterical. It's on my Twitter at that Chris Gore. I quote tweeted that, which I thought was hilarious. But that just shows you like what you could do with using deepfake audio, deepfake video, and putting together something creative. So now look, if the future,
I could cancel a whole lot of people using AI. I mean, that's a sad thing.
The problem is, how can you tell the difference?
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be some sort of watermark on it to tell you, yes, this is fake.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, it's like people will search your decade long Twitter history trying to find dirt, and now all they have to do is now make it up through AI. And you have audibly now said this horrendous thing, and now you've been canceled. I mean, that's the weaponization of this. That's one of the scary outcomes if you take this technology to its extremes.
Let's we're going to continue to go through your chat comments and questions. I have one more thing I want to share on this topic because I think it's very important. The Beast 808 for 2. Alan sent you a link to the Nefarious trailer. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Where did you send that? I'll be looking for it.
My Kingdom for a Film says, as long as AI is used as a tool, not a weapon, which could easily be who's creating the AI.
Yeah. That's the big thing there.
Okay, wait. I think we got that one already. My apologies. Brock Samsonite, does Alan not realize that human beings are basically just really advanced organic computers capable of quantum processing? Yeah, Alan, you don't know that, dummy.
Yeah, I'm staying corrected.
Kara says you can have a bad movie but have a fun, I call it guilty pleasure. Yeah, that's definitely Cocaine Bear. for sure. Not the Batman. I mean, it's hard to choose over which soulless entertainment you want to watch. AI soulless or corporate soulless. True. MK Solid 82 for $1.99. Porn deepfakes are inevitable, already a thing. I don't know where to see that. So, just for scientific purposes, I may have to check that out. Siri on the Bird app, lol, says the Beast for 2. Swords and Starships for $50.
Hey.
Thank you for that. Chris, you were right when you said an RRR video would cause my channel to blow up. 6,000 views on my review and counting. My previous high was less than 300. Holy Tollywood, Batman. Thank you, Film Threat Fellowship. Agree with Alan on AI. Don't black pill. Yeah, I'm not going to black pill. I just think it's a new tool in that, like, I don't know how to use AI to make something profound, but someone who's capable of it, someone who already has previous art skills with a brush or a pencil would do a much better job than I. So I want to see AI tools in the hands of artists and see what's possible. Not the Batman. I mean, yeah, okay, I already got that one.
You got to unstar those. It's really easy.
We really need to have a producer help us out. We're close to getting something like that going. Imperfect entering. Excuse me a second. Alan, can you read some of these?
Yeah.
Start from the bottom.
Okay, so Imperfect says, entering a modern dark age. I call it the dank age. Let's see. We'll go to Beowulf's Revenge. We are entering the stagnant age. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, I'll keep harping on it. We're going to go into creative atrophy. I think that's the best way to say it. Let's see. Alan Horkin. Chess software would be better than She-Hulk. Absolutely. Derek Rosenfeld. She's right. It's basically the plot of Frankenstein. Did I just miss something?
I don't know. Let me start from the bottom. Andre Sierra, if they start training AI with good movies, it will replace writers. But if they go the Chat GPT route and train it with wokeness, indie creators need not worry. Bill S. Preston Esquire says, people spend actual money to watch often bad live performances, community theater, stand-up comedians. AI isn't the end of art, just another revolution. That's the white pill there. Kyle Lovelace, we are 10 years from you going to your personal AI and having you make the Star Wars sequels as if they were made 2 years after the originals. My heart will come. Well, there you go. Shake from Hunger Team for 5. Hi, Chris and Alan. Love the topic today. Keep up the good work. Well, we appreciate that. Amanda Nowicki says, AI-generated writing is easy to spot. It is soulless and repetitive. John Mewald says, opposite of a renaissance. Not the Batman says, the current day artists are going, you'd think they were already AI influenced anyways. Oh, that's true. The way that like current day artists write, it could be written by anybody. It's Stephen C says it's already here. Even if AI isn't doing it, there are formulas for all quote art. Most of the music you hear is formula. Interesting. I've seen some YouTube channels that talk about art and music and talk about that there actually is this formula for what makes a pop song popular. So it's bizarre. Dream Profit for $4.99. Civilians have access to deepfake now. How long did the government have access to it? They always have stuff long before. Great show today. Keep it up. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that 5. And there you go. Leo Cody, my man. Leo Cody's been responsible for many of the videos now you're seeing on the channel. You see these little pop-up videos? That's Leo doing work there. Love it, Leo. Thank you so much for the 2. 6 foot Soka for 10. What a cool topic. Chris and Alan are great as always. Well, I'm going to get to more of your comments and questions. Matthew Hammond for 2. When do we get Film Threat AI reviews? Stay tuned. Guess what? We already did it. In 2019, a writer for Film Threat, his name is Jason Boog, did an experiment. Now, this is the early days of AI. Okay. So Matthew, way ahead of you. Thank you for the 2. We did an article in which we basically said, meet artificial intelligence reviewer, Film Threat's computer generated contributor. It was written by a guy named Jason Boog. And what we did was we asked an AI with certain parameters to write reviews of movies. So who was the first artificial intelligence to write movie reviews? We now know the answer to that question. Since we ran our 100 years of artificial intelligence in movies essay last year, a major technological development has arrived. Artificial intelligence has grown powerful enough to write movie reviews. There you go. This year, the research company OpenAI revealed a model called ChatGPT-2. Okay. The most powerful artificial intelligent writing tool ever created. The AI needs millions of human-generated sentences, reads millions of human-generated sentences, learning how to write new sentences in response to human prompts. For the first time, AI can collaborate with human writers on anything, a screenplay, a novel, or a movie review. We began by asked GPT to a leading question: who was the first artificial intelligence to write movie reviews? We got this most excellent computer-generated response, completely unedited. Artificial intelligence reviewer says, it's the robot you can pay $15 for to watch your movie while you finish making your dinner at home. That was an actual answer. I don't want to read the entire article. It's on filmthreat.com. I will, Alan, I'm going to put this in the front. Can you share this? We'll also put it in the link in the description to this episode. You can just look up artificial intelligence on Film Threat, and you can find this. You can find this article, but it's wait, I can just post it in the chat here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll.
Oh, you want to bump it up to the top too?
Yeah. But in any case, so we actually asked the artificial intelligence to review certain movies, and the article goes on to, put what the result was, right? So we asked it to review things like Terminator and whatnot. I mean, you can read through this entire essay. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Ones that Superman 3. There's an artificial intelligence computer in Superman 3. No, excuse me, Superman 3 or 4. Yeah, Superman 3. So an interesting multi-part piece. It's brief, but I think it's interesting. So we asked the AI basically to review films related to AI. This was in 2019, back in the day. So fascinating piece. I hope you check it out on filmthreat.com. Let's go back to your comments and questions here. We have our special guest coming on in about 15 minutes. Colin West, the director of a film called Linoleum. Oh my gosh. Kyle Loveless comes in with a thumbs up for 50.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my, just a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And my emojis are all like, my hand things are yellow, like The Simpsons. Kyle Loveless's thumbs up is the what they called, and look, they're going to cancel this. This is my prediction. You ready? They're going to cancel the term flesh colored. There will not be flesh colored crayons in the crayon box. That would just be the color flesh, because not everybody's flesh is that color. In fact, I think they're going to start to cancel the term white people, and they're going to call them beige people, because that's effectively, aren't I just beige colored?
No, but you gotta keep white, because that's a symbol of hate. And
well, it's a derogatory. It's become a derogatory term. It's meant in a derogatory way when you call someone a white person now. But my prediction: do they even make quote flesh colored crayons? Look that up. I'm trying to think sort of like how a lot of these nutcases think, and it just makes a lot of sense. You can't have a crayon that says flesh colored. So, whatever. Anyways, just Kyle, that reminded me of that, because I do have friends that will like give me the thumbs up or like the fist up, and it's like I just go with the yellow. That's the default, and I don't care. But it's just interesting. It's just interesting. Nothing good or bad about it. It's like, you make your choice. Thank you for that. That's very generous there. Back to your comments. God, the chat is on fire with this topic. Steven C, it's already here. Even if AI isn't doing it, there are formulas. Okay, I already got that one. Why am I'm
Because you're not unstarring after you.
well, can you do that?
I'm trying to. By the way, here's the Colors of the World crayon kit. 24 flesh-colored crayons.
So that
representing-
so I predicted that. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't predict it. I
I
just
know
wanted to
because it already happened. They're already
colors
selling
of
it on
the
there.
world. So this is like all the different colors of flesh.
Yes.
There you go. I knew it. You know what? I already knew that was like going to be somebody at that company was like, "What do you mean flesh colored? This doesn't match what I look like." I mean, there's a good argument for that. They're not trying to cancel it. They're just trying to add more colors. Actually, you know what? I don't have a problem with this. I think that's a good thing. Yeah. Can you run the cursor of it so we can see?
Yeah, I don't see yellow on here though. It's all.
Yeah, we already got that one. Brad Young, there's already enough people using PCs to make music more than instruments. Dead bot computers lack empathy. Ascendant stoic AI art created by talented people will be far better than the crap that Hollywood creates. So, yeah. I'm going to start from the top. Yeah, Jocelyn says, "Where's my Asian yellow?"
I know, exactly.
Bethel Games says the AI will write better. It's possible.
Yeah, it'll probably get grammar right and sentence structure.
Yeah, and like fewer typos, Alan.
Yeah. What are the rules on swearing for AI?
Well, you have to teach AI the correct way to swear. Beerosaurus Rex, it's kind of a fine line between AI generated content and people just copying, replicating work anyway. It just makes the process more efficient by replacing lazy hacks with code. So there you go.
What is the proper way to swear? That's
well, it's to what degree. There's a human touch. There is a human touch to art. And this is what the Justine Bateman, My Kingdom for a Film says, 1000% agree with Justine. And also, do me a favor, go to Justine Bateman's Instagram and follow her and comment on that essay. You can say you heard about it from Film Threat, please. I want to invite her on the show. Would you like us to invite Justine Bateman to be on the Film Threat Livecast? She has a movie. She actually did a movie, like, was it a year or two ago, with starring Olivia Munn, actually. She plays like a studio executive, and it was at South by Southwest, and I don't know if it ever came out.
Yeah, I might have seen that one.
It was at South by Southwest like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or it might have been, anyways. In any case, I will reach out to her. I will get her on the show, and I want to talk to her about this topic. And as with all the interviews on the Film Threat Livecast, you will participate in the interview. So please comment on her essay. I'm going to bring that up again because I want people to see it. I want people to see this essay.
Because she does movie discussions every week on Clubhouse, by the way.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. Like she'll take a classic film and they'll just have a full-on discussion about it.
She's one of those rare creatives that I like in terms of like the on-camera talent. She understands the craft. She understands film. She understands creativity. So give Justine Bateman a follow and comment. Heard about this from Film Threat. So more comments and questions. Ascendant Stoic AI gives the power to anyone to create what they want and rival Hollywood in terms of quality. The whole doom and gloom and fear mongering by corpo types is only out of fear they will lose their monopoly. Good. I want to see some indie creator make their own thing. I want to see a Star Wars sequel made with AI. I'd like to see a scene from a Star Wars sequel, maybe even just a trailer that shows Luke, Han, and Leia reuniting. Let's see it. I never got that moment. We never got that moment.
Mm-hmm.
We never got to see it. And next week we have The Mandalorian season 3, The first episode's going to be out. I assume we'll talk about it next week, and we are going to do our critics court thing.
Are we?
Well, no, we need to help on the channel. So
Yeah.
we're looking for moderators, people to be in our chat, people to produce while we're live, to select comments and filter the comments.
Yeah.
So that we don't get a lot of repetitive comments, or unstar them. So I'm not like reading comments twice. You know, an AI would never make that mistake. That's the one thing you're not going to get. You're not going to get like mistakes. And to me, what do they call it? Beautiful accidents. When something happens on set, there's a great scene in the movie New York, New York, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Liza Minnelli and Robert De Niro. They go to wake up a preacher in the middle of the night to get married. They want to get married, and Robert De Niro, it's a set, whatever. He goes and knocks on the window and breaks the glass of the window. He didn't plan to do that. It just happened on accident. That's the take that Martin Scorsese ended up using, where Robert De Niro taps on the glass, breaks the glass, and he ad-libs this line, and I'm sorry to wake you, and we'll pay for the glass. Not in the script. Those beautiful accidents, those happy accidents, that magic that you capture, it's pure magic. When a mistake happens, ad-libbed lines, when someone says a line, an actor says a line that wasn't scripted, that's in the moment, you could look up a whole list of those. Some of the greatest moments from movies weren't planned. And we're going to lose that. And also, things like Harrison Ford fought back against George Lucas. You can write it, George, but you can't say it. And if you read the original scripts or treatments for Star Wars, it was so convoluted. It was just gobbledygook, as they say. But, I think that's the thing that AI cannot do. AI cannot be human, cannot make a mistake. No matter how much you tell it to be human, I feel like that's just not going to be possible. Thank you to DeBeast808 for becoming a YouTube member. Pay attention to the community tab for members only. We've got some things coming up. We like to give away free stuff. I love to give away free stuff. Ascendant Stoic comes back with another great comment. AI replacing current Hollywood creatives is an improvement. Yeah, what would you need a development executive for? But I will say this, it'll probably make development executive more important of a job, because you actually need to understand art. You need to actually know film history. And I think part of the reason why so much content sucks today is the people in positions of power making decisions about what to create don't know the history of film. They don't understand it. They don't get it. And it's just so disheartening, because there used to be a lot of people who are incredibly creative as executives, the creative executive. They even had a word for it. It's hardly anyone like that. Hardly anyone like that anymore. Beg for mercy. AI is only as smart as AI is only as smart as the person who programmed it or it was trained by. Well, that's the whole thing about Seth Brundle sending the steak through the teleporter, right? His line in that movie, The Fly, computers are stupid. They only do what you tell them.
Yeah. I mean, that also goes back to, AI film reviews. Maybe an AI will talk about the technicals of a film, but can it come from several different viewpoints? Because I like to stress story over anything else in a review. Story always comes first, but people also come up from an artistic standpoint, from a technical standpoint. And so will you get a varied, will you get, if I produced 100 AI film reviews, would it reflect what Rotten Tomatoes is giving us? I don't know, Chris, are you still there? All right. Patrick Lemire for $1.99. The scary thing is seamless editing of old movies. Yeah, it's like, do we need to be cleaning up? Do we need to be do we need to be tinkering around with old films and cleaning up, so to speak, its imperfections? Or is its imperfections the art of that movie? Let's see. Is that Chris Modoc? Yes, that's Chris Modoc. Let me see what else we have here. Let me get back to that one later. Alan Horkin, AI is totally going to replace someone else's job, but not my area of expertise, because my specialty is special. Is that what most people naively think? Yeah, it's going to happen to someone else, but it won't happen to me. Beg for Mercy says AI is only a... Oh, yeah, we got that one. Let me see. Sorry. Keep ducking out like that. Are you?
No. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, just put them on the spot here.
You're a seasoned improv comedian.
I know. and you're putting my skills to work here.
Yes, this is why people love you, because
but
you know.
Look, I mean, I remember in the first Matrix movie, they talked about that first Matrix they created, and the reason it failed was because it was too perfect. And that there needed to be imperfections that had to be programmed in order for people to accept this AI world that they created. And, I don't like this idea of going back in time and cleaning up the works of classical works. Do we need to clean up Mark Twain? Do we need to clean up Roald Dahl?
Well, no. The answer to that is no. 100% no. Yeah, so
I think the imperfections say a lot more than the perfections.
Well, that's why look, I can think of a bunch of moments from film that were not planned at all. So not the Batman says there is one thing AI should be used for when it comes to old film, and that is colorizing and enhancing old news footage. That'll help modern people grasp old news events were real. There are I'm sort of gone down this rabbit hole and I'm obsessed. You should do yourself a favor and you'll look up old footage from the early 1900s of France or downtown New York City. And what they do is they take this old footage, which was shot with crank cameras. You literally hand cranked the camera at a certain speed that was 18 frames per second, which created, of course, film, right? It's a series of still photographs. So now they can take that old footage, use AI to do it at 30 frames per second.
To interpolate the extra frames they need to.
Yes, interpolate the missing frames and get them from one to the other. And it's beautiful. Did you see that? God, I'm forgetting the name. What was the name of that World War I documentary made by Peter Jackson?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Alan, can you look it up for me?
Yeah.
Alan, look it up.
Yeah, watch my internet crap out.
Yeah. Well, your voice is already so it's a movie. It's about World War I. It was directed by Peter Jackson. It's mostly found
footage,
right? And it kind of transitions from the old footage to the digitally enhanced footage. What's it? Wait, what? Alan, 10 seconds, Alan. What's it called?
They shall not grow old.
Wait. What? I didn't hear you. What's it called?
They shall not grow old.
Wait. What's it called?
Oh, dear God.
They shall not grow old. Yeah,
they shall not grow old.
And he's even used it for old footage. I love that. I love the idea of taking old footage and just enhancing it. I've become fascinated with wow, look at what struck me was the old footage from all these big cities, how well people dressed. I'm seeing this trend now where I'm going to go to the movies, AMC Burbank 16. People are just wearing their pajama bottoms in public. What you would wear at home when you don't want to be seen in those. You're just at home by yourself. You wear these comfy pajama bottoms. People are wearing it out in public like it's nothing. Maybe is this just an LA area thing? I don't know. Are people doing that? The pajama bottoms? Tell me, people in the chat. Do you see people wearing pajama bottoms? You know, and I'm not talking about but like, so when you watch this old footage, what's fascinating is people like fully dressed like in suits and they're just going about their business, walking around like you wouldn't think to wear anything else but a suit or be dressed up, right? So, yeah, interesting. They have no respect for themselves and therefore others, Chris. No airplanes, ugh, says John Feeder. We become entirely too casual. Yep, people around here wear PJs in public, says the nerd far away. Yeah, people do it here too. In Pennsylvania, says the Shuggy. PJs everywhere, says the Resurrectionist. Yeah, I don't like, I would be embarrassed. I have to wear pants with pockets. Generally jeans, you know, jeans are casual, but I own like a couple tuxedos. I'll be wearing one tonight at the HCAs. It's the Hollywood Critics Awards. Jerry Times has done it in Liverpool for years, and then they dress up to go out at night. I wear jeans and hoodies because it's comfortable, and that's what I work in, says Defeater Eater. So there you go. But I just think that like the idea of like pajama bottoms going out in public, like they're not, I mean, it's thin, right? I don't know. I don't know if I would be down for that. Don't know if I would be down for that. So Not the Batman says, Chris, check out the Hindenburg disaster footage AI enhanced. It's amazing and frightening. You can see some guy just barely escape the fire. So there you go. Yeah, it's not the porn awards. It's the HCA Hollywood Critics Awards. I am going there tonight to be in attendance at that event. I was invited by Scott Menzel. He invited me to this.
Yeah, so, and try to introduce Damien Chazelle to Eric Weber.
Yeah. Well, Eric Weber says he's not going to the HCA because it's raining out.
Oh.
Eric Weber showing like that's all it takes. All it takes.
A little rain, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. And
Beast, all these pajama bottom comments. I'm trying to wade through them.
All right. Let's see. We have just a couple shout outs I want to give out here. The Beast is a new member. Welcome to Threat Level 1. Sean Z Comic Construct has been a member for 2 months. Member for 5 months at Threat Level 2.
Yeah.
Love you guys in this channel. So there you go. Love that. Cool. All right. Let's see. I am going to. All right, we have some more started comments here. My apologies.
Yeah,
folks.
I'm trying to wade through some.
Eric Weber's a man's man. If that man is scared of the outdoors. I mean, it's raining. You don't walk to the thing. Everything's indoors. People in what's weird about Los Angeles is I do think that people become weak here because you don't have to deal with the weather. You know, I grew up in Michigan. I remember this is going to make this like I remember walking to school, foot of snow. Nope, you're walking. You're walking to school. Walked to school in the rain. Walked home from school in the rain. I mean, there you go. Let's see. Patrick Lemire. Yes. Old films look sped up because they were shot at 16 frames per second. That's correct. Yes. Sorry. The 18. And modern projectors are 24 frames per second. People in the period saw them projected correctly, not jerky. That's right. There you go. Excuse me.
Oh, here we go. We have a super chat that just you just took off. Okay. Hey, super chat, Matthew Hammond for $5. AI upscaling is great too. I bought Stargate SG-1 on Blu-ray and it did a decent job of upscaling the content so you don't have to recreate CGI. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think the thing, at least I'm learning from the chat here, is this idea between being a tool and a weapon. But I also wonder, you know, I guess I'm kind of this my brain is keeps swirling around this idea of art. Is computer generated? Is AI art really art? And what is the value of that art? If I can have a computer push out 100 different images, do I have art, and do I have meaningful art in any ways? Or, is it always just something that looks perfect, looks beautiful? Or, there to me always has to be that kind of level of human imperfection that goes over. Defeater eater. Alan, take over. That's right. Let's see. I have a rule, Ryan Landis. I have a rule not to live any place where if my car breaks down, the weather can kill me. I've thought about that too. It's like, do I want to live in the mountains, and do I want to live in the snow of the mountains? Imperfect says, I live in the desert. We do everything in the desert. Let's see. MK Solid 82 for $4.99. Chris, were you ever tempted by a sexualized woman and culture of Hollywood during your career? I'll speak for Chris. What?
Yeah, speak for me. I want to hear what you were going to say. Do it. Come on.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Oh, of course. Look at Chris. Of course, he's been tempted by the sexualized woman and culture of Hollywood. And
I don't know which.
I will say, Chris succumbed to these temptations and did it spectacularly.
First of all, I don't know what you mean by being tempted. I mean, there are many beautiful women here, but I'm very old school. So I don't know what you mean exactly by tempted, but yeah, I'm sort of old school when it comes to male-female relationships. So there you are. Have I met many beautiful women? Of course. Yes. I just treat them like people. How about that? Hopefully that answers your question. Matthew Hammond for $5. Also, AI correction of film scanned in that would otherwise deteriorate and be lost to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Photoshop has been doing that for a very long time.
Yeah.
And again, it speeds things up.
Yeah. So cool. All right. Well, I had to go offline for a second, and I emailed the publicist for Colin West for the movie Linoleum, and he was supposed to be here like a while ago, and I haven't seen him. So I think what we're going to do is, because I'm not really feeling all that well, we're going to end the stream early. My apologies, folks. We'll see about getting him on the show next week. Alan, I want to thank you for holding down the fort. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I apologize. I'm gonna end the stream just because I'm really not feeling all that great. And I feel like we talked about it. We reviewed Cocaine Bear. We reviewed Jesus Revolution. We had a great conversation about AI. I don't know. I want to say, first of all,
holy fucking shit, these reviews are delicious.
But I want to say thank you to all of you. Next week, Wednesday, we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere episode. We'll also be discussing, I've got a whole list here, History of the World Part 2. We're going to talk about Creed 3. And we're going to be doing a special, I don't want to ruin it. We have a special thing that we're going to do on Wednesday that I think you'll all find very fun. And hopefully we'll get director Colin West from Linoleum back on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be a big show. Very excited. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are. It could be evening or night. You never know with people. But Alan, take us out. What do you got to say?
Let's get out of here.